everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is one that has been highly requested and is probably my most popular bag, if not the most asked about bag, and that is the Prada Cahier bag. And I've already featured this bag in some of my videos already. However, given the number of questions that I've got about it since that point, I thought it would be best to do a sit-down, in-depth review on it in the same style that I've done my previous reviews, and give also a wear and tear update on the 1 year that I've had it for. So hopefully this is a useful review for you guys if you are considering a bag from the Cahier range. I'm going to, as always, section it out in the usual way. So the first thing that I'll do is obviously give a bit of context around the bag, where I bought it, how much I bought it for, then I'll give you things like measurements, weight, what's inside the bag, what's on features on the outside, as well as then going into what the bag can fit, because I know that's a question that keeps popping up, and rightly so, because it is a very small bag. And then after that I will give you information on pros, cons, and then finally wear and tear. So there's quite a lot to get through as usual. Without further ado, let's get started. Alright, so the first thing that I'll go through is just the bag specs itself. This is the Astrology bag in this beautiful velvet. It was released by Prada, I believe, in 2016. So it's a relatively new bag to the fashion house, but it's undoubtedly one of the most popular at the moment. And the Astrology line, I think you could say, was something that I think was probably limited edition, because I haven't really seen any new versions of this look come out. Actually, it's only really the new style of Cahier bag with the complete leather exterior and then the leather strap, which is a lot chunkier, which has a more accordion style interior. And oh, I forgot to mention, so it's called the Cahier bag, or the Cahier. I think it's Cahier because I learned French and that's how they said it, but everyone's calling it the Cahier, so I'll follow suit because it's in the style of a book. And I absolutely love this because I used to be quite a bookworm. So this bag I got at Harrods for £1,550, which I think for a handbag from this fashion house and of this design, I think is not a bad price point. Obviously, and I'll go into it in the pros and cons, it's a quite small bag, but for the fashion house, I think 1,500 is around average, because if you think about Chanel Mini, which is, in the 2,000, 2,200 sort of range, this one's a lot more affordable. So I'll give you a little bit of context around my purchase from Harrods and why I did indeed go for this style. With this one, I didn't actually see this popularized too much. I saw this one time and I was like, wow, that is such a unique bag that I've never seen anything like it. And I have the Louis Guinness bag and the Hello Kitty bag, if you've seen my designer bag collection. If not, I'll link that below. But you'll see usually, aside from those bags, it's not really that busy. So when I saw this bag, I was quite surprised at myself that I would go for something like this. And actually, it's probably the shortest amount of time that I've ever really thought about buying a bag. On the scale of everything that I've bought, I probably made the decision to buy it within like a month or maximum 2 months of seeing it. In that time, I just remember contacting all the Pradas in London and no one had it. They said you'd have to be on a waiting list or you'd have to have it like custom made or something like that. And I didn't want to wait because I don't really like passing up a lot of money in advance for something that may or may not come in the near future. I think even Harrods, which is obviously where I bought it from in the end, but at the beginning they were just like, you know what, we had a shipment of these. They went instantly in 1 week. I essentially took a break from looking at this bag on holiday to America, but I went into Saks one time and I saw this bag in person. I hadn't actually seen it in person up till that point. When I saw the bag, it was actually, I think it was this size, but it had a different strap. It was an all leather strap. I didn't actually realize that that bag was a regional variation in comparison to this one, which has this chain, which is a regional variation to us in Europe, if that makes sense. So it really confused me when I came back to London and I was like, you know what, I really want this bag, and I was asking for this bag. And then I got pictures sent from one Prada store in, I think it was like the Bond Street store, and one of the SAs kindly sent me a picture of this bag, and I didn't even think we were talking about the same bag, because she sent me a picture of a bag and it had this chain and it looked really small. She said it can just about fit your iPhone 7. I was like, surely that's not the bag that I saw. I didn't think it was that small. I mean, granted, in Saks, I wasn't interested in buying it then. There's taxes and stuff. Might as well get like points and stuff if I buy it from Harrods. but I honestly thought it was a completely different bag that I saw in Saks, and I just dismissed it as like, oh, I don't think it's the right bag, and she didn't tell me otherwise, that there were different sizes and shapes or whatever. So I rang Harrods just on a whim one time. I think it was the weekend of my birthday or the weekend before. And if you don't know this already, Harrods does this thing, I think a week before your birthday, where you get double points. That's just a little bit of context about why I was determined to get it at Harrods. I call up because I always call up before I go into, make the trip into London. I highly recommend doing that if you're looking for a specific thing and you don't want to be let down, or you want to have it set aside for you. And they were like, yep, we have it. We only have 2 though. They had the final stock or whatever in that week. They only had a handful. During that space of time where I wasn't there, I think 3 of them had already went, and they only had 2, of which this was one of the 2. I don't know if they were able to hold the item or not, but I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna be there. So I went in super eager, and I noticed immediately the strap was different, which again was different from Saks. And then the lady was quite helpful in telling me that that was a regional variation and that's the only one that they have. To this day, I'm not sure if I would have preferred the all leather chain or not, or all leather strap rather. Overall, I quite like how it complements the gold hardware on the bag itself. I then tried it on and it's quite mini. I mean, I don't have anything at the moment to compare it to, but actually, do you know what? I'm going to get my Chanel Mini because I think it might be kind of useful to get a comparison with something that's also mini sized. Here I have my Chanel Mini. Ta-da! And you can see that the Mini is ever so slightly bigger and wider. Yeah, you can see the top as well. Right? So on the scale of mini bags, this is on the minier size. So I bought it, got my double points, was very happy. Still to this day very happy about my purchase. Now after all of that, I'm going to go into the details of the bag. So obviously the things that you can see, velvet, very hard wearing actually. I probably need to lint roll this a little bit. I haven't actually for the longest time. It has this leather strap here at the front, which is the buckle. It's obviously, as you can see, got this antique detailing on the stars and the moon. So it follows through with the antique gold hardware throughout, and then you've got this leather part on the strap here for shoulder comfort. But yeah, this bag is actually available also in leather, and it's available in the gold and the silver hardware in the leather. In the velvet, it's only available in gold, and usually I'm a silver hardware person, and a lot of my bags have that silver hardware, but for this one, it just seemed right to have the hardware be the colour of what the stars would be, you know? I don't have many gold hardware bags. I think the only one I have is the vintage Chanel that I got. So this one was a welcome addition to the collection. The back is rather plain. The leather strap at the front, that is the closure, just follows through to the back. On the base, it's also quite plain. The flaps on each side, so they're metal and they're very sturdy actually. They are jutting out a little bit more than the middle of the bag, so where all your stuff goes in. So when you do stand up, it stands perfectly on any table or any surface. And I don't like putting it on the floor really. I just hang it off the back of my chair or on the table because it's quite a dinky little bag, which is one of the main benefits of having such a small bag. Let me get into the actual bag. So I lift up this flap and you can see a little bit of indentation, but I'll go into that later. And you've got this beautiful buckle, so all you do is remove it like that. It's a very simple closure. And then you've just got this strap here, which actually is, you can pop open and remove. So it becomes a clutch. And then in here, I've just got some stuffing. The leather from the top flap follows through into the bottom, so there's no separation there. And the strap inside is also leather as well. And it's secured together by these 2 little loops here. The loops, unfortunately, are not thick enough to have the metal part come in. I mean, I haven't really forced it in, but you can see the ring here is a little bit thicker than the rings here on the chain. So my dreams of having this as a shoulder bag as well, double strapped, are short-lived. And it's quite simple. You've just got one slip pocket here, and then you've got one slip pocket here. No zip compartments, but I personally think that would take up a lot of room. Plus it's not really necessary. You've probably only got your bare essentials in here. Plus the fastening is quite secure. no one's gonna be nicking your stuff, because if they don't know how to open it, they're just gonna find that it's locked like that. So it's quite a safe mechanism in that way. So that's basically it to the bag. And obviously you can use this as a clutch as well. You can remove the inside, so obviously you can wear it hands-free with the strap across body on the shoulder. You could probably try and double strap it, sort of like that. I don't know if that would work. It doesn't thread through all the way in the inside, so you can't wear it double strapped officially. Maybe you could makeshift something out of it. But you can obviously remove the inside and wear it as a clutch. So those are the initial specifications of the bag. Then I'm going to go into measurements and weight. So measurements wise, these are approximate. However, we've got the width here, which is 7 inches. Then we've got the height here, which is 4.5 inches. And then we've got the depth here, which is 1.5 inches. Now what I'm going to do is what I usually do in my videos, and I'm going to weigh it. And this is going to be the before, and then we're going to fill up my bag and see what fits, and then we're going to do an after. So I'm going to pop this now on my trusty kitchen scales. They are so dirty, but let's do this. Alright, so this is a lot lighter than the bags that I've previously weighed. So this bag weighs, in grams, 564. So this is the first bag that I've done that doesn't hit the 1 kilogram mark. So that is very refreshing and good to know. And it should be, because it is quite a small bag. And now I'm going to go into the what fits inside this bag. So I have a variety of items laid out in front of me. These are going to be similar items that you'll have seen in my previous videos, so I want to make sure that it's consistent with what you've seen. So let's open her up. First things first, obviously the iPhone. So this is the iPhone Plus, and I haven't actually tried it with this phone. This is a new phone that I have. So I'm going to just pop that in, and I've got a bigger case on it, so yay! So that fits in there, and you've probably got, yeah, you've got like at least 2/3 of space in there left. So next up, I'm going to bring a card holder, which is obviously a modified wallet given the size, and I'm going to put it in the slip pocket at the back. Next thing I'll probably bring, as usual, is this. I mean, yeah, and it's also just useful. Like, I've had to cut fruit with this before that I never thought I'd have to do. Use this, you know. I've had to open bottles, like corked wine or whatever, with this, so it just comes in so handy. I'm going to try and fit my keys in here. Oh, can we do it? You can fit keys, people, we can fit keys, but whether it will close is another thing. And then what I want to bring, now I kind of want to put my compact in there, but that's not going to fit. I mean, I usually bring like a coat or something, or I have my phone in my pocket or my hand, so maybe I could shimmy that out, but I don't think the makeup is going to fit. But I can fit a lipstick in there. Oh my god, the lid just came out. Alright, I'm just going to put it in here next to the keys there. Then I will compensate for my lack of compact by just having a mirror so I can see what's fucked up business is going on. So I'll put that in there. And oh, this is getting dangerously full. Oh dear. Okay, that's not going to close. I think the phone's going to have to come out. I think the phone is going to have to come out. Yeah, that just about does it. Okay, before I finish up, I'm just going to put, I mean, I can't even put an external battery in. I think I can put an external battery in if I take the keys out. This would probably go in my coat pocket, my jeans pocket, whatever I'm wearing. If it can't, then I will sacrifice the external battery and just put my cable in there and then pop that back in. You can see that there is some space at the top. It's just not big enough to put things like keys or a phone, but you can put some small things. So you can put a snack in there. Alright, I think I'm gonna need to rejiggle. So this is a little bit annoying with mini bags. The external battery is just not gonna work. It's just not gonna work. This is so confusing, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna put my phone back in then. Do you know what? The wire can go in just fine, I think. So whoever's house I'm going to, you better have your charger, alright?
6.5 hours later.
This has never been so difficult. What is happening? I'm gonna need to fast forward this, like what?
So much later that the old narrator got tired of waiting and they had to hire a new one.
So I've got a snack in there, charger, phone, wallet, a tampon, a Oyster card, a lipstick, and a Swiss Army knife. Priorities. So yes, there are quite a few bits in there, but I've had to take out obviously my external battery and my hand wash and my keys. So that is all that fits in there. Even at the side you can see, it's not bursting, but you can see it at the top. And now I'm gonna weigh this because that was a bloody ordeal, but at least the phone's in there. Interesting. We've now reached kilogram territory. So to round it up in kilograms, we've got almost 1.1 kilograms. So that's the actual starting weight of the Givenchy Antigona Empty, which is quite interesting. And in grams exactly, we've got 1,084 grams. It's not too heavy actually. And given that it's concentrated in a smaller shape, it's a lot easier to hold. Definitely does fit less than the Chanel Mini does, and definitely with a lot more difficulty, because this fastening, while it's so cute and really safe because no one can just get into your bag, you know, it's a little bit annoying, and that was the main obstacle. Like I could fit a lot more, and you know, I probably could fit a pen or something along the top, something a bit skinny. However, it comes to the putting it over comfortably part, that's the stress and the struggle. So that's something to bear in mind. Overall though, it does fit a fair bit. You won't be using this obviously as your whole day bag. As an evening clutch goes, this is a very respectable size, and if you were to remove it and just have it under your arm, it is not heavy. So yeah, very mini bag, but a lot of ways to wear it. So now I'm gonna get into the pros and cons. I'm gonna start with pros first, as usual. And the first pro that I have is, of course, the design. I love how it looks. I'm sure a lot of people will agree with me that it's a very unique, one-of-a-kind bag. And I just loved how creative it was to have this astrology theme to it. Plus, I just love how it looks like an old school book. It looks so cute like this. It just looks like a piece of art in itself. I'm always getting compliments when I'm wearing this bag. It's absolutely stunning. It goes with so much as well, despite it having a busier print than what I'm usually used to. My next pro is actually just how wearable it is. I can dress it up and wear it dressed down and casual. You'd think that stars prints could look a bit tacky, but actually the way Prada has done it with these beautiful luxe fabrics and textures, it looks really luxurious. It feels really luxurious. The fact that you can wear it in all different scenarios makes it so versatile and a really good bag to choose. Another pro that I have is, of course, the many ways that you can wear it. I've sort of alluded to this already, but just the fact that you can basically have, I suppose, like 3 or 4 bags in one, so you can wear it obviously on the shoulder here, and then you can wear it crossbody, and you can make it into a clutch very easily. I'm just going to do it like this for ease. But you can wear it as a clutch, and I've worn this as a clutch and it looks absolutely beautiful. And yes, it's a mini bag, it's very small, but because of its size, it can just carry itself into different occasions very easily. Another pro that I have, and this is a big one, is just the security of the bag. So you'll obviously notice that this is a very unique fastening, and the fastening, while it's beautiful just aesthetically, it's also serving a practical purpose with regard to safety. While it may not have zips on the inside, the fact that this fastening has to be done manually with this action means that when you are out and about, you can put your bag towards your back and no one can open your bag, and by the time someone tries to, you'll have noticed because of the motion. Another point that I have to mention that is a pro is just how non-in-your-face designer it is. If you don't want something that screams designer and doesn't have logos emblazoned everywhere, which is the current trend at the moment, and I think this bag is a pretty good one. And you wouldn't obviously know it's Prada from afar unless you A, were familiar with the brand, or B, you went up close and you saw the Prada logo here. It's got nothing on the back, so it's very inconspicuous, and on the front you're probably more distracted by the stars and moon design at the front than the actual brand. And I've not seen many of these about. It's not overworn, but it is still highly regarded, so it's quite popular, but it's not overhyped, if you see what I mean. Another pro that I have is the variations and the sizes of the bag that you can get, and that goes for the astrology style and the normal versions, which are plainer. Astrology style, I've seen several colours already, they all look beautiful. Granted, those are in the leather, not the velvet. You can get a lot of different variations, different hardwares as well, so if you do like the silver hardware, there is one in the leather, which will be, I'm sure, just as durable if it's made from this sort of leather as the strap here. Next pro that I want to mention is the price. So the bag is $1,550. I believe it has since gone up to $1,660. I'm not sure. Maybe they're going for like chronological, like next bag will be $1,770. Are they going for that look? I don't know. The pro is, of course, that it is relatively inexpensive, and I of course use that term very loosely because it's only really in relativity to bags like the Chanel Mini, which is of a higher tier and goes towards the 2,200 plus mark. But relative to that price, this one is actually quite good, and you get a lot of detail, a lot of quality for your money. And obviously I need to shout out the quality of the item as another pro, and you know, I wouldn't expect crap quality for the price that I paid for it. However, the detailing, the leather, the velvet, everything is very secure. It all feels really exquisite quality. And then the final point that I have is the velvet material. Now, velvet I know is a very popular material to make your bags in. Gucci comes to mind in particular. However, I was never really drawn to a velvet bag because I always thought that it was a pain to maintain because of lint and just general fluff and dirt being attracted to it. I then thought maybe about the colour bleeding because of the fabric, you know, if you got it caught in a rain or something. But when I got this bag and started using it a lot, the velvet has held up so well. I mentioned earlier that I don't really lint roll this. So yeah, I've not had any problems with having a velvet bag. And I'm pretty glad also that even if dirt was going to get on this bag, that it's almost distracted by this design at the front. So those are the pros done. Now I'm going to move on to cons, and let me just get one con out of the way to start with. It is the fact that it is very small. Now obviously that's a given because it's a very mini bag, but that's just something to bear in mind if you do have a specific set of stuff that you do not want to compromise on, because you're going to need to make sacrifices to fit your stuff in here and downsize and probably use your pockets and be creative to accommodate the other stuff. Like I frequently find myself holding my phone, putting it in my pocket, putting my keys in my coat or something like that. I mean, if I'm going with literally no need for anything else and I can just get away with a wallet, my purse and keys, then I will do that. However, if you do want a little bit more and you saw the struggle earlier and that's not what you want to do, then you might want to reconsider. But when I say small, I suppose I mean small in the sense that like it's exacerbated by the fastening here. When you start trying to put things on the top and then you can't fasten it, that it becomes a problem. The fastening here is something that you really don't want to tug at too much, and I don't really want to be stretching the leather on the inside and the velvet on the outside. So it is a little bit of a struggle to get things in and out. It comes to when you're trying to stretch the leather and put the fastening in, and then you've got this one, so it's not even just one obstacle done. And it's not like you can just leave the flap down. Obviously it does it super easy now, but when it's got stuff in, you can't just leave the flap down. I mean, you probably could, but it looks kind of weird. I personally like to have it all fastened, and that's what gives me the peace of mind and the security. So yeah, that's something to bear in mind, because I did have a struggle earlier, as you would have seen, and it's not something you really want to be doing in the dark, on a night out, when you're in a rush, because that's when you tend to be more vulnerable, or you lose stuff, or it's just frustrating, you might end up damaging the bag. Obviously I've had no quality issues so far, but I'm always very aware of pushing and pulling my bag too much. Another con that I want to mention is the strap. Now, I love the fact that there is a removable strap, but what I don't like is that it's not adjustable, which would be a problem if you are one extreme to another in terms of height. For me, the drop is, I think, a little bit low when I wear it just one shoulder. It sort of dangles on my bum, and it's a little bit annoying in that sense. I prefer to wear it crossbody, that's my favourite way. But the fact that it's not adjustable, nor can it actually do the whole double strap thing on the shoulder is a little bit annoying, and it's a bit of a letdown where they could have really made that link here a lot smaller so that you could feed it through and put it on the other side. And then related to the whole strap thing, one thing that I want to mention is an episode where the strap had actually popped open on the inside of my bag, and I could feel the leather feeding through as though it was going to come undone, and that was a very scary experience because I thought my bag was literally going to collapse on me. And then something that I wanted to say as a con was the chain. This sort of very close together chain link style of strap can get tangled in your hair. Now recently, for some reason, I don't know, I've not had a problem with it tangling in my hair. However, my hair is a lot shorter than it used to be. It used to be, you know, down to my belly button sort of area, and when that happened, oh my god, this used to get tangled in it so bad that I'd actually not be able to take my bag off my shoulder. It was so painful and I couldn't see what was going on behind there, so I'd have to get someone else to help me, which is super embarrassing to be like, hey, I'm stuck in my bag, and then I'm stuck in my bag again. So that's something to consider if you have really long hair. And then the last thing that I want to mention, which I'm not sure could be a con just yet, but just wanted to mention it anyway, is the resale value. Now, with this one, I'm pretty sure that rarity-wise, I could probably get a good price for it. I could probably get close to what I paid for it. But just the fact that it could be more trendy and any crazier colours might not do so well on the resale market is something that you might want to consider if you do think that you'll get rid of it at any point in time. So that's all done now, and I'm going to quickly go into wear and tear. I'm racing against time. The sun is going down. There barely is a sun anymore. But wear and tear, like I've mentioned earlier, the velvet has done incredibly well. I don't have any signs of wear, no stains. The bottom is also pristine, and the antique hardware is all pretty good. There might be a little bit of like markings, but I think they're just like fingerprints and stuff. There's a bit of a sort of shadow where the leather has sort of sat on here and made a little bit of a dent, but that's normal and you can't see it anyway. Other than that, the inside has held up very well as well. So that's the end of my video. You've seen the sunrise and the sunset with me. If you are interested in getting this bag, I hope it answered a lot of questions for you. Let me know in the comments below what you think. If you have this bag, what are your thoughts and what has the wear and tear been like for you? Thank you for watching this if you are still indeed here, and I will see you in my next video.